I'm Kai Clifford, your spiritual guide and energy alchemist. I've been hearing a lot of people ask, how do I wake up my friends and family? And I understand. I absolutely get it. It is so hard to watch people that you love to suffer and struggle and just not understand exactly what's happening in the world. And it's more than what's happening in the world. It's about the personal revolution. It's about knowing that there is a way to live from love rather than fear. Now, let me know if you can hear me okay. My setup's a little bit different than I thought it would be, and I've had to have it on, what's this one, the landscape view. So I've had to put my phone really far away. So otherwise I'd be really squished in the screen. So when it comes to wanting to wake people up, there's a few things I want to talk about. One, it just may not be their path to wake up. And I know that a lot of you aren't going to like that answer. You're generally, motivated people. You like to make things happen, and you've seen how you can really create change in the world. Now, it may be that you can wake some people up, but there are some people that just, it's not their path at the moment, or more so, the stage of evolution that they're in for who they are is perfect for where they are now. Now, from our human level, all we see is pain and suffering. We see, why aren't they waking up? Why can't they see the pain that they're in? But everyone has free will, and we are all ascending at different levels. Now, when you understand that we are eternal souls, all on a journey to go back to source, to really ascend to higher levels of heavenly states of understanding, you realize that you don't need to save people so much. You realize that it's about helping people remember who they are, and not everyone is ready to remember. You realize that whether a person wakes up in this lifetime or not, they are still on the path to wake up. So even the painful lessons they have to go through actually contribute to their ascension path, even if you can't see it clearly in this moment. It's really important to respect someone's free will. I mean, that's what the Creator, God, the Divine, does for us. That's why there is so much evil on the planet, because we're not puppets, we're not robots. We have ultimate free will to make our own choices. And then through the law of karma, which is actually medicine for our soul, so that we all have the opportunity to make our way back into higher realms, into loving states, into the truth. Karma isn't a punishment. It can feel like it, and it can be very confusing, especially when you're not as awake, because there are so many different levels of awakening. And one of the levels of awakening is developing the maturity to understand that even though it seems like life isn't fair, it actually is incredibly fair, because all of your beliefs are reflected back to you. If you change you, when you change your personality, you also change your outer reality. So you go within to change yourself, and then the outer reality changes too. Now, this brings me perfectly into the next point. The amount of times that I've seen people change themselves, and then their family members change without them even being spoken to, it's beyond counting. So for those of you new here, I've been helping people heal from everything from PTSD to social anxiety, agoraphobia, all sorts of blocks, money blocks, relationship blocks, self-image and insecurity blocks, to manifest amazing relationships and a fantastic life. And this began through my own healing journey about 14 or so years ago, when I had a spectacular mental breakdown, which was really a spiritual breakthrough. And that led me into energy healing, through which I healed my PTSD, social anxiety, and a chronic lung disease that I'd had my entire life. And it was getting progressively worse. In the last few years, I had it for 6 months and 7 months and 8 months of coughing, hours and hours and hours every day for months on end. And through this energy alchemy, which I've developed upon and now share with others and teach my clients, I healed myself back in 2011. I was a person that always, every year, for months on end, always got bronchitis. It ended up into walking pneumonia. And for me to not have had a lung issue, it's 2025 now, since 2011 is incredible. I've had a few tiny little regular chest colds for like maybe a few days or a week, and I was able to clear those. Whereas before, and I mean like just literally like 3 or 4 tiny ones, but before, if I got the slightest chest cold, I would be in terror because I knew that it would turn into something really bad, and I'd be in bed and I would just be coughing in excruciating pain beyond what I can explain, but something that I wouldn't wish upon anyone. And I healed that. So when you know how to heal yourself from within, it's incredible what's possible. And this is the work that I share around the world with others. Now, let me give you an example of what happens if you want to change other people and wake people up. And I can think of so many near identical examples. So let me just start with one of them. So one of my clients, she came to me and we're working on her self-worth issues. She was finding it hard to get a footing in which direction to go in her business. And it turns out she had some deep self-worth issues. She had some deep wounding around things that happened with her mother when she was a child that she wasn't consciously thinking about. But I took her in to those hidden places that you never think about consciously. And I was able to find where she held the unworthiness and the insecurity and the unforgiveness towards her mother. And we transformed it. Within, I think, 2 or 3 sessions, all of a sudden, I think there was a change after the first session, but I know for a fact there was a big one after the second or third session. Her mother was usually very controlling, always having a go at her every time she basically spoke to her, was always having a go about how she's not enough and not doing enough and all these things. And then my client would talk about how her mother was emotionally manipulative and all these sorts of things, which I'm sure were true and had their place. But in our sessions, I was able to work my magic, take her into her energy field, into her emotional body, into the truth of what she was really thinking and feeling. And I can tell you this, her mother transformed from a control freak into an open and communicative woman that when my client came back and said, "You're never going to believe what my mother just did and said." And her mother was talking about wanting to communicate more. And it was almost like she was giving a talk at a personal development seminar. That she'd ascended in communication that much. And mind you, my client had never told us she was doing the energy work with me. Her mother did not know this was happening. She hadn't told her about any changes, done anything differently at all, except for going in and healing the pain, the shame, the blame, the unforgiveness, and the insecurity in herself. This is what happens when you change yourself. Now, one way you can do it is to look for everything that you judge in another, especially people that you're close to, but also in the world. And at first, you might fight this. Some of you might fight this. But just put that aside because I really know what I'm talking about. And I know for a fact that a lot of our issues are so literally under the surface that you would fight me saying, "No, I don't have that." It's like, okay, maybe you don't. But 9 times out of 10, people have a lot more, well, all the times they have a lot more issues, but about certain issues, 9 times out of 10, it'll be that they actually do have the emotional current, like a river current or an electrical current, running somewhere deep in their body and the energies is not just energy, it's thought streams. It's made up with opinions, promises, vows, memories, imaginations. It's made up with like this real substance that creates reality. And they'll find these emotional currents, or I'll help them find these emotional currents deep in their body that's always been there and are running and causing other people to judge them, causing other people to not support them, to treat them badly, to whatever their story is, whatever your story is, it'll be in there somewhere. And when you know how to go in and find these places and transform them like I do, so you're not actually adding anything in except you're tapping into the parts of yourself that are already loving, that are already healed. It's nothing to actually fix. It just seems like there is on the surface, but you're actually a whole, perfect, and complete being deep underneath. You just have a lot of layers and a lot of crust on the surface. Now, this is thinking crust that has those decisions, memories, vows, those issues, all of those sorts of things running on a loop 24/7, projecting out into the world like a little laser pointing off a mirror, ping, ping, pinging those thoughts back to you. So if you have under the surface, you can say, I forgive. But if under the surface, you still have an emotional charge when you think of anything, any charge of unforgiveness, of yeah, anything like that, it's still creating in reality. So I have a fantastic healing method. It's much more effective to do this work with a healer, with a guide, with an alchemist like myself. But I do also give people the tools so you can do this on your own, because it's very important to have your own home practice. But I also need to let you know, whether you do it with myself or you resonate with someone else, to be fair, alchemists like myself who can transmute such deep stuff into such heightened states, we're rare. But at the same time, we're about. So if you really resonate with me and my work, and you're a motivated, intuitive woman, and you are just ready to change up your life, then I would suggest getting in touch with me and seeing if there's space in my one-to-one work, and you might like to apply for it, because nothing is more powerful than being guided through this, because there are only so many places. There's only so far you can go within yourself. Even all healers need outside help, because it's like you can't see the forest for the trees, and you just can't see certain patterns as a pattern because it feels so real and like it's just how reality is. And you need someone to take you into those places to change them. So one problem with healers is it can be very easy to get a spiritual ego and think, well, I'm a healer, I shouldn't need someone else to heal me. Well, that's a real crying shame, because the moment that you think you know everything, the moment you think you can do it all yourself, is the moment you start dying, is the moment you're lost. So if that does resonate with you, do reach out. My work is potent, it is powerful. And just like if you're going to play a violin for the first time ever, sure, you can pick it up and you can try to play it yourself. But there's going to be a massive learning curve. This work is complex, yet the way I teach it and I guide you, it makes it very simple, because I know exactly when to look. I know how to transmute these emotions, which can be really tricky to transmute, but I make it easy for you. And just like playing the violin, it's so much easier to have a teacher, an expert violinist, walk you through how to actually do it, right? Now, when it comes to your own home practice, begin by looking at what you're judging in the people that you want to wake up. And now this is going to take some humility, which doesn't mean, it's not like the traditional meaning. It doesn't mean that you're less than. It simply means that you accept, oh, yes, that's right, I'm human. We all have things that we don't know, and we don't know that we don't know. I can always learn and grow. It doesn't mean I'm bad. It just means I have more to learn. Like, that's the humility that I mean. So you have to really have that humbleness and understand that, yes, if you are seeing it in your reality, then there's something inside you. And the less you can see it, the more repressed it is, which means the more that you're creating it. That's just like the more powerful it is, because all of your programs, all these parts of yourself that you don't like, are repressed down into your body. You can actually find these energy, these trauma balls, these quantum energy knots that, like the strings of reality, literally like get entangled, quantum entanglement, and they create these energy knots in your body. And that's why you feel the lump in your throat, the heaviness in your chest, that sick feeling in your stomach. These emotions are meant to move, like weather, like a river, like a wave. They aren't meant to be locked in one place. That is trauma. And now trauma isn't the event that happened, and it doesn't need to be this big traumatic event. It could simply mean that as a child, at some point, you felt misunderstood and you didn't know what to do with those emotions. So you swallowed them down. Bingo, bango, that's trauma. And we hold so much of it in our body, more than people realize, because we've gotten so good at coping. So I said all that to help you understand that it's okay that you have this stuff. I invite you to look at the people who you want to wake up and see the things that you're judging in them. Now, your key is to ask yourself, where am I doing something similar in my life? Now, it could be in a completely different area, in a completely different way. So don't just look and say, oh, no, I'm not doing that. Let yourself really look, ponder. If there was some place in my life, in any area that I'm doing something similar, what would it be? Now, for instance, if someone in your life, just a completely random example, is constantly late picking up the kids or whatever, you might say, yeah, but I'm never late to pick up the kids. You might even say, yeah, but I'm never late at all. Okay, well, what is being late? And I'm actually someone who's chronically late, so I'm calling myself out. It is a disregard. Oh gosh, it is a disregard and a disrespect of people's time. Okay, wow, like I'm hearing this channel through me. So see, this is an example in my day-to-day life. I might have known that, but I wouldn't have been able to know it as clearly because I'm bypassing my blocks speaking to you right now. So that was just schooling me. But anyway, so you have a look and you just say, okay, chronically late. Okay, so that's a disregard. Maybe it's also not prioritizing correctly. So you could be, okay, where in my life am I disregarding others, not respecting others? Where in my life might I be not prioritizing things correctly? And see how that's not got anything to do with picking up the kids or being on time. You go deeper than that. Now, sometimes it might literally be, oh, wait, there, I'm always late, picking up my mum or whatever it is. I'm always late to the hair salon or whatever. But it could be in a completely different area, in a completely different way. So do not immediately dismiss it. So what you do, and this is the kicker that I've seen so much success in, you look at them, the thing that you're actually judging it. If you're saying they need to change it, then you're judging it. Okay? So you look at them and you're, okay, where am I doing that in my life? And then you take all your attention off them, you put it onto yourself, and guess what you do? You ask yourself, how can I change this in myself? Here's the thing. You can easily go, oh, I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm so bad. Well, come on, get over it. Okay, that's part of having humility, where you go, oh, we all have problems. We all have an issue in multiple areas of our life. Rather than beating yourself up about it and thinking you're too good to have problems, all humans have problems. You're not better than other humans. We all have problems, right? So just accept it with grace. Oh, okay, I see. And if you do have the whole emotional reaction about it, you can use energy alchemy on that. You can work with me. You can probably watch other ones of my videos. You can ask me questions in my Q&As on Wednesdays, which I'm beginning to do on Facebook. I may also do it on Rumble, depending upon the streaming software. We shall see. Now, speaking of that, if you do want to stay in my world, get involved, make sure you're following me. Make sure you get on my email list at spiritualsuccessjourney.com. And at the moment, on the front page, I have my Healers ebook, but that will be changing soon. So if you want my Healers ebook, I'll put it in the description later. And it is at spiritualsuccessjourney.com/Healers ebook, right? Now, this has, among other things, an amazing forgiveness process. Now, forgiveness, as you know, it's in the Bible as like the be all and end all. It is a potent manifestation method, because if you have this, as I said, under the surface 24/7, every time you pull up a memory of something or someone that happened and you go about it and you feel a feeling about it, that psychic energy being drained from your now moment going into the past, you're draining your energy. It's like having one foot on the pedal and one foot on the brake, right? So use my forgiveness method, which is the missing link that nobody else seems to be using. My method really works. And you can use this in your life. So get that at spiritualsuccessjourney.com/healers ebook. And yeah, just make sure you're in my world. Get involved. Find me on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Threads if you so desire. And just feel free to send me a message. Now, here's the thing: make sure you're actually engaging on my stuff. Not for me. I'm okay with you being a secret follower if you want to be. But if you want to make sure that you actually get my transformational content and use it to really uplift and transform your life, which it does work. I've seen it through time and time again. So many people, you just absorb my stuff daily, do my energy healings, of which I have free and low cost options, plus my higher cost options for if you want the truly, bigger, faster results. Yeah, I've just seen it. So make sure you're following me. Make sure you engage, because Facebook, TikTok, all those ones, they don't really show you people's stuff as much, almost at all, unless you're continually engaging these days. So again, that's not for me. That's just for you. Okay, what's the other thing? So back to the judgment. When you put the judgment on you, make sure that you humble yourself in the good way, where you're not saying that you're less. You're just saying, oh yeah, I'm a human. I have stuff. And then you just leave them be. Leave them alone. Stop nitpicking. Stop telling them what's wrong. Work on you in a loving way, how you can change it. And when it doesn't immediately change, which it won't for most things, just keep repeating it until you find ways to change it. And when you put all your focus on you and how you feel, right? Which is a juxtaposition, because the paradox is we're also meant to really be in service to others and helping others. But you're not really being in service to someone if you're judging them. You're not being in service to someone if you're sitting here with these cranky feelings in your body that come from concern and care, but are ultimately negative. It's not really helping them. So put your focus on you. Find how you can heal you, how you can let go of your judgment and fix those things in your life and personality. And then, especially if you're doing your energy alchemy and dissolving it at the same time, which, as you know, is what I teach, you will see people change as well. Okay, now we could also go into more, but I think I'm going to save that for a part two. If you want me to do a part two on actual compassionate communication, how to get your needs met and how to be heard, let me know below. If you want my training on how to, like a 4-step process that I use and I teach my clients, I even have PDFs of it in my programs, how to use 4 steps of compassionate communication, also called nonviolent communication, that helps you get your needs met in a way so the other person actually understands and is on board with it. Because the reason why someone does something is so important. If someone does something begrudgingly, not good. If you can get somebody onto your side and they can see your point of view and you can see their point of view, big, 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 big benefits, right? So thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you get on my email list if you're so resonating with me. And if you are, please share this. Get the word out. Help me to help the world. I am ready to be seen by so many more people. Over the last 14 years, I've been helping other people grow their followings, grow their businesses, heal their relationships, manifest money, manifest trips, do amazing things. While I was dealing with my own mental health issues and insecurity issues, now I've healed so many things one after the other. But I've also had deep, deep, deep fear of being seen, visibility issues, even while I was helping others blow up their accounts and stuff like that, because I know how to do it and I'd already come over loads of my visibility issue. It was just so deep. And so I'd grow followings and then I'd just burn it to the ground. I'd just like shut down the groups and things like that. I'd grow email lists and then I'd lose them. And I actually just recently lost an email list too, when I took a year break for the first time in like 10 years. So anyway, I'm back. I'm ready to go. So if you believe that this information needs to be known, please share, please follow. And if you do want the most powerful work to help you in any area of your life, especially around your business and your visibility and your healing and your health and just feeling great in your life, then send me a message and talk to me about working with me one-to-one. I don't work with everyone. Okay, so don't be offended if you're not a right fit. I can always recommend you to something else. But if you are a motivated, intuitive woman that's willing to do the inner work and you are willing to do the outer work, because it's not just sit around and do nothing, you're going to have to change your behavior to lock in and quantum leap into your new reality. And I can teach you all about that. So gorgeous, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you to those of you who shared. I haven't been able to see your comments, but if you have commented, I will be reading them and replying. And yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts, your highlights, your takeaways, and any questions you have, and I'll make more content on that. Okay, you have a wonderful day. Mwah. I'm Kai Clifford, your spiritual guide and energy alchemist. Oh, my feet are asleep. And I'll see you soon.